Don't touch these top 5 foods after stroke and heart attack. There are moments in life you never forget, and you don't need anyone to remind you of them. A blurry morning in the ER, the glare of white lights, the cold, steady beep of a heart monitor, worried eyes around you, and a sentence from the doctor that echoes in your mind forever. You've just had a stroke, or she was lucky to survive a heart attack. If you've ever heard those words, I don't need to explain anything further, because you know that feeling better than anyone else. You know it doesn't just change your body, it changes the way you see everything. Your meals, your sleep, your heartbeat. Even a brief moment of dizziness becomes a warning sign. But there's one thing few people, including doctors, ever tell you after you leave the hospital. The second stroke is rarely like the first. It often comes faster, hits harder, and is far less forgiving. There may be no clear warning, no time to react. And the scariest part? It doesn't come from somewhere far away. It comes from your own kitchen, from your fridge, your dinner table, or that familiar food you believed was harmless. The very things you've always eaten, the meals you think of as normal, can turn into silent triggers. Especially after your body has already been through a life or death event. You might have eaten one of them just yesterday without even knowing. That's why I'm here today. Not to scare you, but to give you a roadmap, a list, a second chance. 5 foods that anyone who's experienced a stroke or heart attack needs to avoid completely. Not just to survive, but to live fully, live meaningfully, and live without flinching every time your heartbeat feels off. Here's what you may not know. 60 to 80% of repeat strokes and heart attacks don't come from genetics or age. They come from what you eat every day. After such a major event, your body isn't the same. It's like a pane of glass that's been cracked, still clear, still whole, but one wrong bump could shatter everything. The sad truth? That bump is often just a bite of the wrong food, a comfort dish, a casual indulgence, a moment of routine that becomes the final trigger. So today, you won't just learn what to avoid, you'll learn how to protect yourself, like putting on a seatbelt after surviving a near-fatal crash. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll show you not just what to eliminate, but what to add, so you can live stronger, more confidently, and without the fear of it happening again. Let me break down 3 reasons why eating the wrong food can send you right back to the ER. First, your blood vessels after a stroke are weak and inflamed. Eat the wrong thing, like trans fats, preservatives, artificial additives, and you add fuel to that inflammation. Tiny vessels in your brain or heart can easily clog up again. Second, your heart needs real nutrients, not fake food. Ultra-processed foods, margarine, sugary drinks, they offer zero recovery value and make your heart work harder every day. Third, after a stroke, your body becomes hypersensitive to sodium, sugar, and industrial fats. Eat too much salt, refined sugar, or low-grade oils, and your blood pressure can spike. Arteries can constrict. Your heart gets overworked, and it's only a matter of time before it gives out again. So here's the takeaway. Strokes and heart attacks don't just happen. They're built one bad meal at a time, over months and years. The good news? Prevention works the same way. One smart meal at a time, one better choice today. In the next part of this video, I'll walk you through the top 5 foods that stroke and heart attack survivors should never touch again, with clear, Simple, science-backed explanations. Grab a pen and write them down, because even if you avoid just one of these 5, you're already giving your body a much better chance to breathe easier, heal faster, and live longer. Now, let's get into the most important part of today's video. The foods that, if you've had a stroke or a heart attack, you should avoid like poison. And no, I'm not using the word poison for shock value. These are foods that have been scientifically shown to damage your cardiovascular system, increase your risk of a second event, and in some cases, lead to death if not controlled. Food number 1, margarine, also known as trans fat or hydrogenated vegetable oil. Back in the 1980s, margarine was marketed as a healthier alternative to butter. But after decades of research, we now know it's one of the most dangerous fats you can put into your body, especially if you have heart issues. When you eat margarine, you're consuming a man-made fat created by forcing hydrogen into vegetable oil at extremely high temperatures. The result is a cheap, shelf-stable fat that's incredibly hard for the body to break down. Trans fat raises LDL, the bad cholesterol, and lowers HDL, the good cholesterol. It causes inflammation in your arteries and contributes directly to the formation of plaque. And if you've already had a blockage once, I don't think you want to take that risk again. You'll find margarine hiding in crackers, packaged cookies, pastries, fast food, and even in so-called healthy sandwich breads. Don't be fooled by labels that say 0 grams trans fat. Legally, if it has less than 0.5 grams per serving, they can round it down to 0. Read the ingredient list. If you see partially hydrogenated oil, that's trans fat. Don't buy it. Food number 2, soft drinks and energy drinks that contain BVO, brominated vegetable oil. This synthetic additive was once commonly found in drinks like Gatorade and Mountain Dew to keep the flavors from separating. Sounds harmless, right? The problem is, BVO contains bromine, a chemical that can interfere with your thyroid function. And if you've had a heart issue, you know how closely thyroid and blood pressure are linked. Disrupt the thyroid, and your blood pressure can spike unpredictably. If your blood vessels are already fragile, this is a recipe for disaster. The sad part? BVO has been banned in Europe and Japan for years. But in the US and many other countries, you can still find it in sodas. So please, read the labels carefully. Or better yet, stay away from industrial soft drinks entirely. Stick to water, herbal teas, or fresh juices. Your heart will thank you. Food number 3, industrial pork containing ractopamine. Ractopamine is a chemical used to bulk up pigs, to make them grow faster and leaner so producers can increase profits. It might sound like it has nothing to do with your plate, but the truth is, ractopamine is a beta agonist stimulant. That means it can raise heart rate and blood pressure in people who consume the meat. For someone with a healthy cardiovascular system, the effects might not show immediately, but for a stroke survivor, someone with stents, or a history of heart attack, even one serving of ractopamine-tainted pork could be the tipping point. Over 160 countries have banned ractopamine in livestock, but in the US, Canada, and several others, pork containing this chemical is still widely available. You won't be able to tell by looking at it, but you can make smarter choices. Choose organic pork or meat labeled hormone-free or non-GMO feed. And overall, limit your consumption of industrially produced pork. Food number 4, packaged foods that contain BHA and BHT preservatives. These 2 synthetic preservatives are commonly used in breakfast cereals, potato chips, snack foods, and a variety of processed items. In the US, they're labeled as generally recognized as safe, But ironically, the same government also lists BHA as a chemical reasonably anticipated to be a human carcinogen. These chemicals work by preventing oxidation, but they also generate free radicals that attack your blood vessels, trigger inflammation, and damage already fragile tissue. After a stroke, the last thing you need is another agent that makes your blood vessels even more fragile. Those bright reds and neon oranges in candy, soda, or snacks, they might look fun, but for your body, they're anything but harmless. Now that you know which foods to avoid, you might be wondering, so what should I eat? Is there anything that's truly good for my heart and brain? The answer is yes. And trust me, eating healthy doesn't have to mean bland or boring. All you need to do is prioritize real, whole, nutrient-rich foods that haven't been stripped down by industrial processing. Here are some of the key food groups I always recommend to my heart patients and stroke survivors. First, dark leafy greens and natural vegetables. Spinach, broccoli, kale. These are rich in antioxidants, potassium, and magnesium. These nutrients help lower blood pressure, relax blood vessels, and prevent plaque buildup in the arteries. Second, nuts and healthy oils. Walnuts, chia seeds, almonds, flax seeds. These are full of natural omega-3s that reduce inflammation, lower triglycerides, and help prevent blood clots. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the best choices to replace processed oils or margarine in your diet. Third, and extremely important, berries, especially blueberries. Blueberries aren't just delicious. They're one of the most antioxidant-packed fruits nature has to offer. The anthocyanins in blueberries have been shown to protect blood vessels, improve elasticity, lower the risk of another stroke, and even enhance memory in older adults. If you can make blueberries part of your daily habit, fresh or frozen, you're doing something amazing for both your brain and your heart. Fourth, whole grains, especially oats. Oats contain beta-glucan, a type of fiber that helps lower bad cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and keep you full longer. It's an ideal breakfast option for stroke survivors, keeping your energy steady without spiking your blood pressure or blood sugar. Fifth, wild-caught fish, especially wild salmon or sardines. Unlike farm-raised fish, wild fish are rich in EPA and DHA, two essential omega-3 fatty acids that help regulate heart rhythm, reduce vascular inflammation, and support brain function. And if you don't eat fish, consider a high-quality fish oil supplement, after checking with your doctor, of course. At the end of the day, I always tell my patients a simple truth. The closer your food is to nature, the further you are from disease. You don't need fancy packaging, you don't need flashy labels or health claims. You just need food that's real, clean, and made the way nature intended. If you've made it this far in the video, I know you truly care about your heart health or someone else's, and that to me means a lot. Together, we've gone beyond just what to avoid. You've learned why these foods are dangerous, and why small, consistent changes on your plate can literally save your life, without waiting on another prescription. I know changing habits is hard, but please remember this. Your first stroke may have been an accident. The second, if you don't act, will be a choice, and that choice starts today. So begin with the simplest steps. Stop buying margarine. Read food labels more carefully. Swap the soda for a glass of water. Add 1 extra serving of blueberries this week. Slow down when you're standing in the fast food aisle. You don't have to do everything at once, but every time you choose right, you take 1 step further away from your next heart event. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone you care about, your parents, your partner, your friends, anyone living with heart disease. And if you want more clear, science-based health education that puts you back in control, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and never miss another life-saving video. I'll see you in the next one, where I'll walk you through an ideal meal plan designed specifically for stroke and heart attack survivors. You don't want to miss it.